and welcome. Hey there folks, welcome along to the Helium Down Under channel. My name's Ian and I'm going to be your host here on this particular video and most of the videos here on the Helium Down Under channel. This channel is focused on helium, IoT, the Internet of Things, with a strong flavour and focus on the land down under, the Anzac region, Australia, New Zealand, otherwise known in helium as the AU915 band region. And I've got a few updates for you. I did a quick video this morning whilst I was on the way home from work, but I thought I'd actually do one a little bit clearer here with better audio and video. So let's bring you up to date with what is happening because it's a big day for helium in Australia. The first company we're going to talk about, and is in fact the primary focus or flavor of today, and that is Linxdot. Linxdot did start shipping to US and Europe a couple of weeks ago now. They have released batches 1 and 2, or rather completely filled batches 1 and 2, and partially completed batch 3. And today they will be adding Australia to that list. They received their certification a couple of days ago. In fact, I believe it was on Friday, our time, that they received the certification, and they are going to commence the distribution of the invitation to purchase emails. Sounds a little bit disjointed. If it's the first time you've been watching this video, maybe you're here because the price of HNT hit all-time highs yesterday and you're looking for how do you purchase a hotspot. Well, guys, a few months ago now, when Linxdot first put their website up, there was a wait list where you could put your name and email address into that wait list. Now, approximately 2 or 3 weeks ago, when they opened up to Europe and the US, they sent invitation to purchase emails to all of the people that were in those wait lists. So it was sent in the order of the date that you actually applied to the list. Meant essentially the longer you'd been on the list, you were the first one to be offered a position in the line to purchase a Linxdot hotspot, and they will be continuing that for Australia. At 6 p.m. tonight, Australian Eastern Standard Time, that's Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane time, and Tassie time, of course, that is when they will commence the distribution of their invitation to purchase emails. Now, they will not all be going out all in one batch. They will be distributed in the same format that they were for the US and European. So there will be a staggered rollout with a couple of hours potentially between each batch. I'm not entirely sure. But guys, they are starting at 6 p.m. tonight, which correlates to 9 a.m. in the UK. So they wanted to be all hands on deck when they hit the emails to be able to send them out and obviously be able to address any issues as they might have come up. So they will be sitting at their desks watching what is going on. I'm not entirely sure of the delay, but periodically they will add another batch and another batch and another batch of emails until effectively they have sent invitations to all of the emails that are on the Linxdot waitlist. Now, the only units that will be offered through that wait list is the AU915. I believe that they will probably be available to anybody in the world to purchase, but of course, the AU915 are only good for those of us that are down here in Australia. And in fact, I believe they will probably only ship to Australian addresses, just like they would only ship the US ones to the applicable US and other regions that the US 915 were legally able to operate. So I suspect that it will only be Australian addresses. I don't know exactly how it'll be formatted, but tonight at 6 p.m. it all starts and we'll soon be able to find out. So make sure you get your credit card ready and you're at your computer for 6 p.m. tonight, Australian Eastern Standard Time, for the start of that rollout. If you don't get an email right at the start at 6 p.m., guys, don't worry. Remember, it is a rollout. It just probably means that you're not in the first batch, that you will get the second invite or maybe even the third email. Now, if this is day one for you in the journey, as I say, because the price of HNT soared just yesterday, all-time highs, and you're here because you want to get a hotspot, once the waitlist has been exhausted, which will probably be within the first few hours or 12 hours or so of the operation, the website will then open up for open orders from anybody anywhere in the world. Will be able to purchase the AU915 frequency hotspots. So it's really important, guys, if you are in that sort of initial batch, you're in the wait list like myself, you're wanting to purchase them, be at your computer tonight at 6 p.m. Okay, you snooze, you lose. If you don't get into that first batches, then you'll be put into the open market, which is, I think, for batch Batch 3, I'm not entirely sure. The shipping time for those, batch number 1 anticipated to be shipping early September. Batch number 2 is around October. Batch number 3 is sometime in December. So the sooner you can get an order in, the better. So there's Linxdot. Oh, actually, just before we move on from Linxdot, the price, £399, which includes shipping, but it does not include any duty that may be applicable in your own country, which of course here in New Zealand, here in New Zealand, I should be starting to talk like a New Zealander, shouldn't I, bro? No, that's really a dodgy New Zealand accent. I'm sorry, New Zealand, that was a poor attempt. If you're over here in Australia, that would be GST. If you're over in New Zealand, I'm not even sure if you've got GST over there, but whatever it is that you've got, plus any other duty that may be payable for international goods that are coming in. The bit of a trick though, if you do manage to order goods that are less than $1,000 into Australia, at least, I don't know about New Zealand, quite frequently you can slide underneath the radar when it comes to customs and the likes, and you will receive your items at the purchase price and there won't be any additional costs payable. But guys, just be prepared. I can't quote any of that stuff. I can't guarantee it. The fact is, all I know is that it does not include duty. If you have to pay duty, it has nothing to do with Linxdot. It's everything to do with the Australian, New Zealand governments. Okay, so there's Linxdot. Let's move on to number 2, and that is the IoT Store. Now, the IoT Store are a store in Western Australia. I have had a number of messages in the last couple of days, people once again trying to validate, are these guys the real deal? I can understand, folks, if you're like me, you've been burnt by some other distributors that have not shipped according to their original time schedule. All I can tell you, I've never been into the IoT Store. I've never met Sam, who is the owner and manager of the business. I've never met him personally. But I have spoken to him many times, and I've spoken to many people who have been regular customers of Sam's and the IoT stores for at least a couple of years since they started operation. Now, the IoT Store is focused on actually supplying IoT needs to big-end companies and enthusiasts. So launching into Helium, guys, we are not the focus of their business. We are an added extra, which of course will very quickly become a very large portion of Sam's business. At least I believe it will. But guys, I can definitely stress and guarantee as much as I can the fact that the IoT is real. The IoT still are a legitimate business, and you will be able to purchase your Seeed Sensecap M1 hotspot from them. They don't have stock in hand right now. Their stock will be arriving in September from the US, and then it will be distributed out to wherever you are in Australia and New Zealand. There are only 500 in batch number 1. That's the only order that Sam had placed. He will be placing follow-up orders, but right now all we can work with is the batch that's basically on the books, and that is the first 500, of which right now at the time of recording more than 400 have been accounted for. In fact, we may have even sold out now, and we may be into the next batch. I don't know. I did send a message to Sam, but I didn't hear back. So, guys, we'll just work on the fact that it's the tail end if it's available at all. Let's just take a quick look at the Helium site here on the IoT Store. As you can see it now, $769. Now, folks, the IoT Store does not include GST. So you will, when you go to the sales page, need to actually add GST to your price, once again, applicable to wherever you are, Australia, New Zealand, or the likes. It also does not include freight or transport to your state or region. So if you order from the IoT Store, you are going to need to pay additional freight charges on top of that again. The freight costs are around $30 to $50, depending on which option you choose. I would personally suggest you do choose the option that includes insurance, but that's entirely up to yourself. So they are there. They are available right now, but there are not many left in this batch. Once that batch goes over, I'm assuming that Sam is probably putting together a wait list, much like Linxdot, for batch number 2. And you will be advised when essentially it is confirmed which batch you are in. You can pay via credit card on both Linxdot and Sensecap, which is the great news. There's no bank transfers, there's no PayPal, there's no cryptocurrency here, guys. Both are looking to use credit cards. So you've got the safety and security of knowing, especially through the IoT Store, being that it's an Australian business. Guys, if any Australian business rips you off and goes underground, guys, it's pretty hard to hide from the Australian banks, and you will get your money back. But I can vouch as much as I can for Sam that it is the real deal. Sensecap, whilst there has been a little bit of bad publicity being spread across Discords and the likes, guys, I really don't believe for one moment that Sensecap is anything other than a top quality product. Sensecap and Seeed have been producing hotspots and IoT equipment now for many, many years. This is not their first go at creating hardware. They are in fact probably the longest term player that are available in the helium space at the moment. So if there is an issue right now, I'm quite certain that it has something to do with the link in with helium, and it will be addressed very, very soon. So once again, I can't guarantee anything here, guys, but I've purchased 2 of these myself. So I've got complete confidence that they are going to work. All right, let's just move on very quickly to the other options, because if this is your first day watching the Helium Down Under channel, number 1, please subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of time into this trying to keep you guys abreast. This is not an opportunity to try and make squillions of dollars. I mean, for goodness sake, this is YouTube and I'm working with the Australian market. I'm obviously not very sensible or a very savvy businessman if this is all about the money. Guys, I'm here about trying to build the network in Australia, because if I build your network, it's going to help me in my network on the Helium blockchain. Let's have a look at the other companies very quickly. Syncrobit. Syncrobit no longer available to purchase new orders, but there are many people out there that are waiting for Syncrobit. According to the Discord here, they are still expected to begin in September, that is shipping to Australia. If, however, I was to spend time and have a dig through Discord here, which I don't have time to do, but you will find that Syncrobit have been behind schedule and are copping a little bit of flack from their users. Yes, there are some happy users out there and they've got it, but largely most people are thinking that they have overpromised and underdelivered. So, expected to begin in September. That doesn't mean that they will. Just means that they're expected, and it also says to begin. It doesn't say to end. I have learned through the experience of Nebra to read between the lines. So guys, I really hope if you are with Syncrobit that your orders do arrive in September, and if you do, believe me, I'll be celebrating, because they make up obviously a big wad of the hotspots that will be on the Australian map. Let's move on to Rack. Now, Rack has in fact been distributing quite regularly to Australia. There were some large shipments of multiple dozens of hotspots. I believe up to 50 one person received just in the last couple of days from Rack. If you have got a Rack order, you're probably well aware of when your hotspots are coming in. They do have quite an extended wait. In fact, my order for a Rack hotspot is not coming until December, possibly even into January. But I'm right at the very, very tail end of the orders that have been placed. They are no longer accepting orders. They are clearing their backlog. So at this stage, guys, there's the predictions, Numbat, Orca, Panda, Quail. You can read it from the screen and look it up. Go to the CalChip and look up the hotspot shipping calculator and you'll get all of the details. Let's take a very short moment here to address my biggest nemesis, my nightmare of my helium journey, and that is Nebra. I had such high hopes for this company. They looked professional. They were offering really great service initially through the Discord, but now that's all eroded away to be complete silence. Now that we're in radio silence, we are simply looking at the Nebra Discord, which is not even the official one. It's a group of people who are all digging and trying to find information. And right now, all I can tell you, the latest information, and believe this if you choose to or not, guys, I tell you, as the manager of Nebra said in his last announcement, take it with a pinch of salt, and I'm taking this with a whole carton, a whole kilo of salt, is that not only are the 17,000 hotspots that they had predicted would start being distributed in July are just about to be distributed, but now they're claiming that in fact there is going to be an additional 20,000 on top of the 17,000 available very shortly afterwards. Because I don't know, as I say, big bucket of salt being tipped on that one. I'll believe it when I see it. I've only got one hotspot on order with Nebra. I cancelled the others and I'm focusing on the ones that I have confidence are going to arrive. Most important point, just to summarize, Linxdot, be at your computer, 6 p.m. tonight, credit card in hand, if you are already on the existing wait list. The wait list is the focus for the first few hours, and then it will be opened up at some point to the open market. So if you're a new person seeing this for the first time, don't worry guys, you're not out in the cold, you'll be able to get on board. All right, just before I close out, HNT hit $25 yesterday, and I tell you what, guys, it is on the way up in my opinion. It may have a slight correction coming sometime soon, but I am quite honestly seeing HNT as being a $50, possibly even a $100 cryptocurrency. It's sitting at, I think it was number 53 on the crypto charts yesterday, and it's going to be climbing up, I'm sure, to the top 10 very soon. Okay, guys, with that, I've got to go. I've got to take a trip to the doc with my sick dog. That's a trip to the vet with my sick dog. So I will catch you again real soon. Helium Down Under out. Cheers.